Mortgage Mark here. Let's talk about a mortgage payoff. So when you refinance a home loan, what's going to be owed at closing is going to be a different number than what you're probably expecting. So if you think, man, I owe $300,000 on my mortgage, guess what? Your mortgage payoff is going to be more than that in most cases. Here's why. So guys, a mortgage payoff includes, first and foremost, a fee. Whoever your mortgage servicer is, they'll charge anywhere from like $100 to $200 fee just for processing all this, which is kind of garbage, but it's the reality of what it is today. Secondly, it's going to have per diem interest added on there. So let's talk about what that means. Let's say a loan's going to close June 20th. Okay, so by June 20th, we're going to make the assumption a June 1st payment was already made. And by the way, when that June 1st payment was made, is paying for the interest of May. So remember guys, mortgage payments are done in arrears. So when you make a mortgage payment, you're paying for the previous month's interest. So in this example, if a loan were to fund on June 20th, that means there are 20 days of June's interest that have not been paid. So 20 days of interest gets added to your payoff. And guys, this is why when you refinance, you get to skip a month of a mortgage payment, because if you close June 20th, you'll skip July's mortgage payment. You're like, oh, that's great. Look, it's not free. Because remember, at closing, they're going to collect from the 21st through the end of the month. So at closing, you're paying for the rest of June because 20 days of it got added to the payoff, and then the remainder of the month gets paid at closing. So there is no July payment because all the June interest got paid, right? So when you go to make your first payment in August, after you quote unquote skip a payment, that's great, but August payment pays for the July interest. The payoff is also going to be just a pinch higher because most companies will add, call it 2 or 3 extra days of padding to the payoff, extra days of interest. Because let's say we're closing on this June 20th, let's say for whatever reason the wire wasn't sent over in time, or maybe it didn't get processed or received by the 20th. Well, if it rolls to the 21st, if we're 1 penny late, we got a problem, guys. So what they'll do is they'll add an extra 2 or 3 days of interest to the payoff so that if it funds maybe an extra day or two late, or the money's processed a day or two late, then they got a cushion there. Understand, when that 2 or 3 days goes out, almost all the time, every time, it's going to close when it should, but just realize you will get that money back. They're going to send you a check for the $20-$30 extra that was padded on there. It's your money to keep. Don't worry, you're going to get it back. So guys, the payoffs are going to include some fees for the actual just processing thereof to get the paperwork done, and it's going to include any outstanding prorated per diem interest that they tag onto it. So guys, understand this: if you close early in the month, like June 5th, they're going to have all of May's interest tagged onto it plus the 5 days of June 5th. So you might say, well gosh, I'm about to make a payment on this. Okay, this is where it can kind of get complicated if you close a refi in the beginning of the month. So if you make that mortgage payment and it's reflected, no harm, no foul. But what if we close June 1st and your payment's automatically drafted out of your bank account June 1st? Well guys, we have to give them the money they say is owed. So if they haven't processed it, the mortgage company hasn't processed it, we're going to pay off the full amount. So let's say we do this, we fund, we close, and right before we fund, the mortgage company receives your money that came from your bank. Well, guess what guys, they're going to give you the money back. It may take 30 days, but they're going to give you every penny that's yours and what's deserved. So it's a lot of information, but realize it's a bigger number than what you think. That's supposed to be that way. If you have any questions, call us. We'll be happy to walk you through that process and run the numbers for you.